Hello everyone. Today is both a happy and a sad day for me. It's happy in the fact that I have a new computer case to try out. It's kind of sad in the fact that this might be the last computer I build for a very long time. I just feel like hardware's gotten so stagnant, like the software hasn't really been pushing the boundaries, and I find a 5 to 6 year old Core i7 920 to be plenty. But with that said, I was cleaning out my garage and I came across an old power supply I used to use for Bitcoin mining, and I thought, why don't I buy a case for it? And then I was talking to my neighbor, and he had leftover motherboards and an old 6950 from his Bitcoin mining days. So I thought, what the hey, I'll throw it together and tinker with it. Now, when I used to Bitcoin mine with 7970s, what was it, like 3-4 years ago, I used a Raven Silverstone, and I bought it from somebody off Extreme Overclockers. He was like a moderator. He would just send hardware, he would review it, and then he'd sell it dirt cheap. At any rate, he sold me a Raven, I believe it was an RV04, and at the time it was like a $200 plus case. But at any rate, when I first got that and put in the 890FX and the two 7970s, I loved how the motherboard is turned 90 degrees. I mean, the idea that you have air sucking in from the bottom, going over the video cards, and then straight out the top, that just seemed like a great idea. And compared to my other cases, when I was Bitcoin mining, it was 7 to 8 degrees cooler in Celsius versus the other ones. So, I mean, it wasn't just kind of cool looking, it also was functional. I also like that it takes stress and weight off the motherboard, because you have like a 290X or a 7970 or whatnot. It puts a lot of torque, a lot of weight against that PCI Express slot. So, when you have them vertical, it just seems like it's a lot easier on the components as well. Because I don't know if you've ever seen it, but I've definitely had some old video cards or motherboards where the PCI slots were kind of bent, or the video card kind of was, I don't want to say U-shaped, but it was kind of getting sloppy. It was no longer a straight line. But anyway, we're going to skip ahead. I'm going to open the box and pull it out, and then we'll go from there. And before I unsheath this, I would like to point out that this case was a lot cheaper than the last one. I think it was $106 or $109 with free shipping. So I didn't really expect it to be as baller as my last one. But I can tell you from unboxing it already, it definitely feels a lot lighter. So here goes. Okay, I'm going to try to walk around a little bit and give you kind of an impression. To be honest with you, I don't know how it opens up yet, because there's no thumb screws on the back. So I'll have to figure that out. But one thing I'm already kind of disappointed with is it feels very thin and very cheap and flimsy, I suppose. Normally the type of cases I buy are the Antec P280. I do like the silent computing cases. I've tried the NZXT, and I had a Cooler Master Cosmos, and I definitely like it when a case feels and looks well built and solid. This one's not giving me the best impression, at least so far, but we'll see how it looks once I get the motherboard mounted. This assembly was actually really easy. This piece just snaps off, you just pull it out, and then the side levers here, you just push this button, that releases it, and then when it's on there like this, you can just tug it off. Now, I will be honest, I did expect this case to be bigger. I just did a test fitment with the motherboard, and it is a full-size ATX board. It's an old Core 2 quad, but it barely fits in there. I mean, it uses up every available space, so it'll be interesting to see how cable management works out. So you can see here I've run into my first problem. My power supply won't actually fit in there as long as the modular cables are plugged in. So to make it fit, I'm going to have to remove my hard drive bay. Okay, here's what we got so far. Considering how small and cramped it is, I have to say I'm pretty happy with the cable management that's available. It would be nice if it had a little more space. There was a couple times where I wanted to run something through the top side and there's no hole there. But I don't know where I'm going to put my hard drives yet, so that'll be an interesting thing. I'll have to see if maybe if I push my power supply cables way out of the way, maybe if that tray will fit back in there, or yeah, I don't know where they're going to go yet. There have to be some sort of solution because the manual says to remove the hard drive trays if the power supply is too big, and I don't think they expect you to have your hard drive sitting outside the case, so we'll have to see where that goes. I thought you might also like to take a glance at the back side. Let's see if I can turn the light down there. Right now it's kind of a rat's nest, but you see all the holes you have available. You can run cables through there, in the middle and off to the side. I thought it would have been nice to be able to run something up somewhere along that top side, but there was nowhere to go for that. Okay, so I've definitely hit my first snag here. It turns out my 3.5-inch bay, this guy right here, is not going to fit with a 1100 watt power supply. So I found an old laptop hard drive I used to use for Bitcoin mining. So, took it out of the junk. At any rate, so you can put one here and you can put one here. I chose to put it here so it doesn't get in the way of that cable management. But there's two like pegs over here. So you set it into the pegs and then you put a screw here and here. But it's a real test of patience. Now, I'm assuming if I had the correct tool for the job, it wouldn't be too bad, but you can just see you can't hardly go at a straight angle. I mean, if I had a magnetized Phillips, I'd be fine. This is what I was using, but I can't get it a straight angle in there. So I'm probably going to call it good for tonight, and we'll finish up tomorrow. I purchased this case because it was something different, and it reminded me of the good old days when my video cards used to pay for themselves. With that said, I do wish I would have bought an Antec P280 or some sort of silent computing case, because ultimately this is going to be more of a media center, and I do feel that with all the ventilation it has, there'll be a lot of fan noise and whatnot, so it probably wasn't the best thing for me, but it's still a pretty cool case. If you're a gamer overclocker, it's a pretty tidy package, so I think you'll like it.